Good morning. Welcome to Your Vote Counts. We're scattered all over the country right now, but it's good to have Senator Rosino and Jason Dunnington. And guys, this government shutdown, it's starting to get serious. State employees, Jason, now starting to get furloughed.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for weeks. I think all of us on the show had hoped that the shutdown would be over by now. If it makes it into Tuesday of this week, it'll be the longest government shutdown that we've had. And I'll continue to say the same thing that I've been saying is elected officials, regardless of party, should have been meeting this entire time, should have been hashing out what the plan is so that we can stop the shutdown. Taking a vote is not that difficult of a thing. Everyone wants to lay blame at one party or the other. I lay blame on all of them. Every day, Oklahomans and American citizens are the ones that are getting punished right now because elected officials can't get their act together in order to make a deal that's best for the entire country.
And that pain now on the state employees, Senator, and just no end in sight.
Yeah, and so I got word this week that DHS was going to lay off 2,300 plus employees. And the way they've structured that, if you're an employee that makes between 50,000 and 99,000, you're going to be furloughed 2 days pay period. If you make over 100, you're going to be furloughed 3 days of pay period. That's significant. You're talking anywhere from $600 to $800 a month for a family. So there's some stuff there happening. We also saw yesterday that the child subsidy may be stopping on November 1st, which really is going to hurt people in the workforce. So we have got to get this shutdown over and put to bed. Yesterday, I believe President Trump came out and said that he would like Senate Republicans to use the nuclear option. So that's now being floated around. So we have to do something to get this back. But I do agree with my colleague. We need to get people back to the table.
All right. And right now, some incredible pressure on folks who are working at food banks. They're unsung heroes. They do this. Nobody pays any attention, the media, at least, on food banks. And all of a sudden, bam, they are under the gun, Senator.
Yeah. And there's some great people working at our food banks. I volunteered at the regional food bank here in Oklahoma City. I have always been invested in them. And now they're going to try to double their capacity. And what people are not realizing, it's not just that the people that are going to miss SNAP. Now you have all these federal workers that are furloughed, and now you got state employees that are getting furloughed. Well, many of them, they can go maybe a week or two, but after that, that demand is going to grow even higher. And so we're going to have to rely on our food banks and some community partners to try to help us get through and weather the storm. Otherwise, people are going to start feeling the effects heavily.
It would be good, Jason, if people start digging down and, the stuff that's sitting on the shelf at home that you haven't used in the last year, get rid of some of this stuff. The pressure is on these food banks.
Yeah, the pressure is absolutely on them. I did appreciate this week that Governor Stitt came out and talked about the importance of giving to food banks, to supporting your local community food banks. I think that there are some further measures the governor could take beyond just supporting the food banks, but I appreciated those comments. And yeah, it is going to put a lot of stress on our communities. I think one of the missing pieces here that not enough of us are actually talking about is why we have so many food insecure people in the state of Oklahoma or in the United States in general. We're talking about a government shutdown. This should be about the X's and O's, but we're talking about, vast portions of our citizens in the United States that are food insecure. And that's a question I don't think we're talking about enough.
It's a great question. When we come back, we're going to talk about impact on businesses in Oklahoma. And the question I'm hearing all the time, which is, what can we do about this? Welcome back to Your Vote Counts with Senator Rosino and Jason Dunnington. And Senator, we talked about hungry people in food banks, but also businesses, retailers, they're starting to get hurt with this shutdown.
Yeah, so the state of Oklahoma receives from the federal government approximately between 127 and 130 million a month. And those benefits are being used at our retailers and grocers, right? And so Now we're seeing that those SNAP benefits won't be spent, and the grocers and the retailers are going to start feeling it, along with everybody else in society. We talked about it in the last segment a little bit. The food insecurity piece. There's almost 600,000 Oklahomans on SNAP benefits, and many of those are children and the elderly. And so we really have to be concerned about that. And I mentioned this. I think last week when we talked that, if you have an elderly neighbor or you have people with young kids, please reach out for help. There's a website called Be a Neighbor at DHS's website that you can find local areas in all 77 counties for help.
So much need, so much want right now. And now it's starting to hit our private sector. And Jason, this is really, if people don't believe this is dire, they need to start talking to their federal delegation, but it is indeed dire.
Yeah, it is dire. And it's interesting that we're moving off of the people conversation about how people are being hurt to how businesses are being hurt. I think what it really reveals, though, is just how much money the federal government spends in the United States. I mean, when you're looking at just food alone on something like a food benefit to the needy in Oklahoma costing $130 million a month, that's just a drop in the bucket of how much money the federal government is spending. If you think that, if you break that down and see that maybe a quarter of it goes to stores like Walmart or Dollar General, I can imagine that the lobbyists for those stores are going to have conversations with senators in Washington, D.C. about ending this shutdown. But again, I would say it's a perfect time for us to think about, why is it that the federal government spends this much money all of the time, on all of these things? What are we doing about that?
Well, last question. You guys are hearing this as well as me. People are saying, what can the governor, what can the legislature, what can the state government be doing to, help mitigate the situation, Jason?
Yeah, I think the first thing they can do is have conversations with all of our federal delegation and just make sure that they're crystal clear about wanting them to find an end to this shutdown and helping Oklahomans and the American people. I think, too, there are some emergency funds that Oklahoma could dip into, at least for a week or so, in order to cover some of the backlog here. Yes, I know the feds may not pay us back for it, but the fact is it's Oklahomans' money. They paid those taxes, and it should be there to help Oklahoma citizens. So I think that's the second thing we can do. And then third, I think we just have to, again, ask ourselves the question, why do we keep getting into this place where politics keeps us from solving problems? And why do we continue to overspend so much that it shuts our country down?
Great question. It's unbelievable how long it's been since we actually passed a budget federally. It's all continuing resolutions. Senator, what can state government do now?
Yeah, so it's really a concern for me. I don't know what we can do. We're looking at many options. We are talking to the governor. I do want to mention again, our federal delegation, we have been in touch with them, and they have voted every single time to keep the government open. And so we need to get more people at the table, especially in some of these other states where they're not coming forward and helping us fix this. But I do think that the state of Oklahoma is looking at different options. We cannot fund all of these things. We just do not have it in our budget. Oklahoma's budget is a balanced budget. So our money is all tied up in different places, and people have to understand we just can't unlock it and just start taking money and putting it different places. We maybe have a few levers we can pull, and we're looking at all of those, but we just haven't come up with a plan as of yet.
But at the end of the day, it's those people in Washington have got to get their act together. Thanks for watching Your Vote Counts. See this again at news9.com and news on6.com, and follow me at Mitchell Talks.